So people are upset and people are not looking to watch this film, Snow White, because they're passionate.
The most recent scandal in Hollywood has just become even more serious. Rachel Zegler's fall from grace is spiraling out of control as major studios blacklist her one by one. There is everything in this story: arrogance, controversy, and a career that appears to be beyond repair. From the disastrous box office performance of Snow White to the heated on-set drama with Gal Gadot, this story has it all.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Let's delve deeply into the ways in which Rachel Zegler's meteoric rise turned into the most terrifying public relations nightmare in Hollywood. Hello everyone, and thank you for tuning into the channel. In the event that you are new to this site, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to Celeb Culture so that you can stay up to date on the latest Hollywood breakdowns. At this moment, we are going to delve into one of the most shocking and controversial stories that Hollywood has witnessed in recent years. Rachel Zegler, who was once hailed as Disney's Golden Girl and the future of live-action adaptations, has found herself at the center of a blacklist that encompasses the entire industry. The fallout from Snow White continues to get more and more unpleasant, and the drama that has surrounded Zegler and her conflicts with her co-star Gal Gadot has caused shockwaves to travel throughout the entertainment industry. It is the 27th of March in the year 2025, and while Snow White continues to perform poorly at the box office, the real story is how Rachel Zegler went from being Hollywood's next big star to a complete outcast in a matter of months. From her controversial comments and unprofessional behavior to the industry's harsh response, as well as what this means for her future, we are going to dissect every aspect of the situation. This ride is going to be a roller coaster, so make sure you fasten your seatbelt. When we want to have a complete understanding of how catastrophic this fallout is, we need to take a look at how Rachel Zegler became the face of the live-action version of Snow White that Disney produced. Rachel was considered a young talent with the potential to become a household name after her breakthrough performance in the film West Side Story, which was directed by none other than Steven Spielberg. There was a buzz of excitement throughout the industry as Spielberg himself lauded her as a talent that only comes around once in a great generation. The casting of Zegler as Snow White by Disney was hailed as a bold and inclusive move. The studio saw it as an opportunity to reimagine the classic story for a new generation, while also capitalizing on Zegler's rising star power. It was anticipated that this would be one of the most successful live-action remakes that Disney had produced since The Lion King. Early promotional material highlighted her singing abilities and youthful energy, which helped build anticipation for the film. However, controversy began to develop from the very beginning. In the original film, the dwarves were replaced with CGI mythical creatures, and the storyline was drastically altered to focus on Snow White as a warrior rather than a princess. Fans of the original film were skeptical about some of the creative choices that were made. While there were those who were willing to consider contemporary interpretations, there were others who believed that Walt Disney's original vision had been completely betrayed by the new direction. On the other hand, all of that was merely the tip of the iceberg. Things truly went out of control beyond any reasonable doubt. When Rachel Zegler first began to speak to the press, she stated that the promotion of a film is all about generating excitement, connecting with fans, and demonstrating respect for the source material. Unfortunately, Rachel Zegler did the exact opposite. She openly criticized the original Snow White as being problematic and out of date, dismissing it as a story with outmoded gender roles that had no place in contemporary film. She did this in a number of interviews. Fans were quick to criticize her comments, pointing out that while it is possible to update stories in a positive way, it is extremely disrespectful to trash the original material, especially something as well-liked as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Many people had the impression that Zegler was disregarding decades' worth of cinematic legacy, and what was even more concerning was that she appeared to be completely unapologetic about it. The backlash that she received on social media was swift and widespread, with many people accusing her of being conceited and ungrateful for the opportunity that was presented to her. Instead of apologizing or making an effort to make things better, Zegler reaffirmed her position. She went on to accuse critics of being misogynistic and asserted that those who disapproved of her rendition of Snow White were simply resistant to change. This did nothing but add fuel to the firestorm that was already present. The downfall of Rachel Zegler is not the first time that a young Hollywood star has been subjected to criticism. However, it is not often that we see it escalate to such a rapid degree. It is possible to look back and see that celebrities such as Sheila Buff and Lindsay Lohan have had their careers marred by scandals. However, these scandals were frequently associated with personal issues and legal issues. Zegler's situation is one of a kind because it is primarily based on her public persona and attitude, both on and off set within the entertainment industry. An additional recent example of a comparison would be Brie Larson, while she was on her promotional tour for Captain Marvel. In spite of the fact that Larson was subjected to criticism for making controversial remarks, Marvel and Disney continued to support her. The most important distinction between the two is that Zegler has been completely rejected by a number of studios, whereas Brie has been able to weather the storm and continue working in a major franchise without any problem. When it comes to someone who is so young in their career, that is almost unheard of. It was at this point that major studios started to openly distance themselves from Zegler. The situation began to change. They had been planning to cast her as the lead in an upcoming psychological thriller, hoping that her star power from Snow White would attract audiences. Paramount Pictures was the first to make a decisive move. They had been planning to cast her in the role. However, once the controversy reached a point where it could no longer be ignored, they completely abandoned the idea. According to Paramount, Zegler was not only removed from the project, but she was also placed on an internal blacklist, which effectively prevented her from participating in any future related endeavors. The announcement caused shockwaves to spread throughout the industry. A blacklist of this nature is extremely uncommon, particularly for a young actress who was once considered to have a promising performance talent. However, this was not the end of the story. Legendary Pictures followed suit not long after they removed her from the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong crossover film. Additionally, Warner Brothers, who were working together on the project, came to the conclusion that it was not worth the risk, and then removed her name from consideration for future casting roles. According to the reports, the executives at both studios were concerned about the public relations outcomes that would result from their association with Zegler. The studios made a strategic decision to cut ties with her before their project suffered the same fate as Snow White. This decision was made in light of the fact that social media was ablaze, and fans had previously stated that they would boycott any project that involved her. Around the same time that all of this was taking place, an additional layer of controversy was developing behind the scenes. It has been revealed by sources close to the production that Zegler had been challenging to collaborate with on set, particularly when it came to her interactions with Gal Gadot, who is also co-starring in the film. There was ongoing tension between the two, according to those with knowledge of the situation, which stemmed from discrepancies in their personal philosophies and political perspectives. There have been reports that Zegler has made Gal Gadot, who is well known for her unwavering support of Israel, a target of his criticism. A significant amount of tension was caused during production as a result of Zegler's public expression of disapproval of Gadot's political stance, which caused the situation to escalate considerably. Despite the fact that the producers made an effort to mediate, the tension that existed between the actresses was too intense to ignore. When the heads of the studio learned about their disagreement, it only served to strengthen their decision to release Zegler from his contract. On future projects, they did not want to take the chance of experiencing additional negative press or working conditions that were stressful. At that point, Zegler had become more trouble than she was worth, and severing ties appeared to be the only reasonable course of action that could be taken. Zegler's actions have rendered her untouchable in the eyes of Hollywood, which is notoriously unforgiving when it comes to public relations disasters. Industry analysts are already speculating that her chances of making a comeback are extremely low to non-existent. In spite of the fact that some celebrities have been able to stage comebacks after scandals, Zegler's problem is not just a personal one, it is also a professional one. Studios are not willing to take a chance on a person who has demonstrated that they are a contentious and unreliable presence in the industry. It is extremely unlikely that Rachel Zegler will be able to reclaim her career at this point. The only way forward could be a complete rebranding, along with genuine apologies and a significant amount of time away from the public eye. Even in that case, it is difficult to imagine that studios would be willing to take the risk. Do you have any thoughts? Is Rachel Zegler's career truly over? Or is there a possibility that she could make a comeback in some way? Would it be possible for Hollywood to forgive her? Or is she destined to be remembered as the celebrity who faded away before she could even reach her full potential? In the comment section below, please share your thoughts with me. Do you believe that she should be given another chance, or do you believe that she has crossed a line that cannot be undone? In the event that you found this analysis to be insightful, please click the like button and don't forget to hit the subscribe button for additional in-depth analyses of Hollywood's most significant scandals and controversies.